Welcome to your online source for calculator tutorials. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to perform basic calculations directly from the home screen. Begin a new spacetime document by going to the Menu tab and selecting New. If you already have a document open, it may ask you to save your current one. You can do this, or you can simply ignore it and open a new one. We'll begin by performing some basic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Instead of hitting enter to produce an answer in spacetime, we use the solve button located at the top of the button pad. Let's go ahead and try this out. Let's enter 5 plus 3, and instead of hitting enter, we'll hit solve. Notice that the answer is 8, just as we would expect. Subtraction is just as easy. 5 minus 3, hit solve, gives you the answer 2. All right, let's try multiplication, but this time we're going to involve some decimals and fractions. Let's go ahead and do 2.1 times 2.5. I'm going to go ahead and hit solve. Now, depending on whatever option you have set up, the correct answer here, or the view of the answer, may look different. If you go to your options tab, I currently have it set up as fractions for my answers when it's available to give me a fraction. Hence the answer is a fraction. But if I go into the options menu and I select decimals instead, go back to the main menu and redo the calculation, what you'll see is that the resulting answer is indeed in decimal form. Let's go ahead and turn it back to fraction form for the next example. All right, so we've done addition, subtraction, and multiplication. This time we want to look at division. Division is simply entered as fractions. So if I want to divide, say, 10 divided by 12, you just enter the fraction 10/12. And similarly for other division calculations. Now when I hit solve, it gives me the answer, once again in fraction form because I have it set up that way, of 5/6. What you'll notice is that this is the fraction 10/12 in lowest terms. This is a very useful thing for you to get familiar with, as we'll be using this several times over the course of the semester. There's also other basic operations like raising a number to a power, let's say 2 squared. Or we could also be taking the square root of a number, like the square root of 9. But then there's also tricky ones, like the cube root of a number. If you look on the button pad, there's no cube root button, but you have to remember that roots, like the cube root, the fourth root, roots above 2, are all fractional powers. So for example, if I wanted to calculate the cube root of 27, the way that I would do that is take 27 and raise it to, instead of the third power, the cube root would be raised to the 1/3 power. Now, you want to make sure that you follow order of operations here, and it's just a good idea whenever you use powers with fractions to include parentheses. So let's go ahead and select the parentheses over here on the right side of the button pad, and then enter the power 1/3. Go ahead and hit solve, and that'll give us the correct answer 3, because if you take 3 and cube it, you get 27. Spacetime adheres to all standard order of operation rules, so be sure to use parentheses, powers, etc. in their proper locations. This concludes our basic calculations tutorial. Feel free to replay this tutorial or browse any of the other available topics on the course webpage.